No matter which session you pick, online or in person, you can count on the Highlights Foundation to include generous and talented mentors in all of our workshops, a strong sense of community, and a sharp focus on craft. If you were sitting here with me at Highlights today, I might ask you just 3 questions to get started. The first would probably be, where are you on your journey as a novelist or in the specific project that you're working on? So for some friends, they might say, oh, this is my 4th novel, and in working through, I've decided that, I've always been a pantser, and I've decided I want to outline. So in this 4th novel, right now I'm starting with an outline, and I think I know my concept, I think I know my characters, but I just don't know how to outline. That's going to give you a really specific focus. We know that you've written full novels before. This is just a need that you might have in your education. Some other people might say, this is the first time I've ever even attempted a novel, and I've written 10 or 20 pages, and I'm so excited. I've workshopped those pages with a small writing group, and now I need to know what happens next. That tells us a lot about where you are on your journey as a writer, and also where you are in that specific project. If I were interviewing myself, I might say, oh, I am so close to this novel that I keep getting feedback on, and I need someone else maybe to look at the whole thing with me and help me set up some goals and strategies. But today is not about me, so we won't get into my needs for workshops right now. For you, I would say start with this question. Think about where you are on your journey. Think about where you are in your project. And once you have those questions answered, then start thinking about the specificity. Are you writing in a specific area, or are you looking more generally at crafting a novel? Those general pieces like plot and character and voice and pacing, etc., those will be in each of our novel workshops. But there are workshops at the Highlights Foundation that speak to specific formats, like say you're writing a novel in verse, or writing middle grade versus young adult, or a genre like science fiction. If you're writing something like that, you want a workshop that is specifically tailored toward those interests, and you can find them. I'd also suggest asking yourself, how much feedback are you really ready to receive? Each of our novel workshops does have a component of feedback, some way more than others. And if you've never received any feedback before on any of your work, it might feel overwhelming to jump right into a whole novel critique where you're looking at just a ton of feedback all at once. Also, sometimes people need more time to process feedback when they receive it. And if you know that about yourself, and you look at the workshop itself and see the amount of feedback, and that there isn't a lot of time to revise or to process critique that you've received, that might be an indication of a type of workshop that might work best for you. Also, at some of our workshops, we have editors and agents who are reviewing your work, which is very different than having your fellow authors reviewing your work. And so are you ready for that type of critique as well? So, you want to think about all of these things, especially at different points on the journey of a project. Would receiving too much feedback on the beginning of your novel at this point halt you from being able to continue? So really looking carefully at the amount of feedback given in a workshop is also something that can be helpful as you're trying to decide. So now you've answered these 3 questions. You've talked about your journey professionally. You've talked about, the project itself. You've looked at any specifics that you're targeting toward, and you've thought about the amount of critique that you want to get back.